Yo. What's going on, man? Today is the 4th of July. Of course, we're in 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, live on Twitter, also live on YouTube, as we always are. Happy 4th of July to everybody who celebrates the holiday. We got a 2-game WNBA slate for today, and then I'll get up off here. Quick recap of yesterday. Go through a couple of the comments as I always do, and we'll jump into the 2 games. Let's do just that. Yesterday was a nice bounce back day for us. On the show yesterday, I talked about Dallas plus let's just go to the recap. I talked about Dallas plus the points yesterday, which was a loser, plus the 5. But we also talked about Brittany Griner and, Rebecca Allen not, knowing if they was going to play or not. And that's why you wait. I always talk about waiting. For people who are new to the channel, I always put the plays that I've made official plays. They are always in green. And then the plays that I'm leaning when the show actually happens, that I haven't bet yet, are always in red. So I didn't bet Dallas plus the 5 yesterday, which was great because Rebecca Allen and Brittany Griner both played yesterday. So a little bit of injury report manipulation. Didn't know until right about tip off that they were going to play. I did talk about Arike Ogunbowale assist yesterday, and I said that was going to be an official play. I just hadn't played it yet. And she did get there. She ended up with 5 assists on the dot, and she's gone over in every home game outside of one. And we saw a lot of pace. Game went up and over the total, even with it moving. And then for all the members, I did send out the Dallas live team total under 97.5, which was also a winner. A little sweaty, but they did stay under the 97.5. We played that at the end of the third quarter. After they had a 33-point quarter. Yesterday, I talked about, wanting to fade teams in the fourth quarter, and I thought Dallas was a good fade last night in the fourth quarter specifically. So 2-0 yesterday. We make a unit. We needed that back because we had coming off a terrible Tuesday night. So, yeah, we get it a little bit back yesterday. You can see the numbers on the left-hand side. They are updated 47, 35, and 2. On the season, we're up a little over 6.5 units on the season. Still a lot of room to improve. WNBA been a little crazy though. All right, so let's go through a couple of the comments before we jump into the 2 games for today, and we'll get up off of here, man. Mark, good morning, my brother. He says, good morning. Happy 4th, Chris and crew. Nice 2-0 day yesterday. Let's keep it rolling. Absolutely, Mark. Definitely appreciate the positive vibes that my guy Mark bring in here every single day, win, lose, or draw. A push. Marquis says, rise and grind, people. Let's get this Flag Day cash today. Absolutely. What up, King C-Nil? He says, yo, good morning. G Herb says, happy Independence Day. Ortiz, the rapper, says, love the content, grinding like the eclipse. It might be a VA thing, man. I'm always trying to cash. Always trying to put out the content as well. Tommy says, Dallas over the point total cash. Yeah, they're the worst defense in a while. We'll talk about Dallas got a game tomorrow against Atlanta. We'll talk a little bit about that game as well. I think it's it's 2 games for tomorrow, but that's 3 games for tomorrow. But that's one of them that I went ahead and looked ahead for last night. So yeah, we'll talk about that. Appreciate you for reminding me, Tommy. Ortiz says, happy 4th, Lynx on a bounce back, revenge at home. We'll talk about it. What up, Dallas? Smokey Steve Best says, happy 4th day, Chris. Lynx for me today. Okay, what up to my guy, Justin? Always in here rocking with me. Christian says, Dallas killed it in the last 30 seconds. Shaking my head, they had it. They don't play any defense, though. So I always say this. I should have pulled the box score up and screenshotted it. But when you see a dog lose the first quarter, first half, it really don't matter if they're home or on the road. If they lose the first quarter, lose the first half, don't cover any of the numbers, and they have a strong third quarter, you typically can bet on them. If they win the third quarter, especially by margin, they typically run out of gas, either offensively, defensively, one or the other. And after 33 points in the third quarter last night, that's a lot. That's a lot for an NBA quarter. I kind of thought that they would I thought they'd kind of run out of gas, and they did late in the game. So you typically want to fade those teams live if you can. Justin says, your Ogunbowale over 4.5 assists was clutch. Made up for the Wings plus 5. Wings over 33.5 team total was clutch. Strong night. I'm glad you cashed it. That was the other look I talked about on the show. So it was 3 plays that I liked on the show yesterday. I didn't get there with the Wings team total over, but it was a winner. Jay Holiday also talking about Arike. Somebody asked me, was I going to do more props? I told him maybe. We have cashed 2 in a row. Christian says Mystics plus 16.5, under 171. We'll talk about it. Bruce says, good morning, Chris. How do I become a member? You just use the link that's in the description, Bruce. Make sure if you sign up, you want the plays that I send out. I know you cap yourself, but you want the plays that I send out to the members. Make sure you do the ChrisBeCappinn Community tier, which I think is $5.99 a month. And it'll get you all my plays as soon as I make them. But the link is in the description of the video for this. Christian also asking about the links. We'll talk about that. Bruce says he hit that Enrique PRA over yesterday. Love to hear that. What up, Three Kings? Says he cashed Enrique 6 rebounds at plus 112 last night. Okay. And Dropping Dimes says, yo, what up, Dropping Dimes? Robin here as well. It's a lot of people. I thought y'all be asleep on the 4th of July, man. People in here for real. Jay says, for real, your read's pretty good. Definitely start doing props. I'm trying my best, man. Definitely try my best. And my guy Mitchell in here too. He says, top of the morning, Chris. Took the Dream live plus the 9.5. Let's get it today. Absolutely. DB says he caught the Wings live at plus 12.5. They were down early, big early. One more thing I wanted to mention real quick. On Monday, I don't know if people saw the thumbnail or not, but on Monday I'm gonna be doing an NBA free agency update show from a betting perspective. Never get on here just to talk hoops. That ain't my thing. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this money. So we'll go through on Monday. I think I set it for 10:30, something like that. You know, if you got your notifications turned on, you'll know when I go live. I'll remind you guys as well. But I did do a thumbnail and started doing some diving into looking at some betting odds, whether it's you know, teams. I just want to go through the teams and see what the odds are. I see Philly, you know, top 5 as far as you know, potentially could win a championship this year. So we'll talk a little NBA on Monday. It's no WNBA games on Monday, so we'll talk a little NBA on Monday. If you guys want to tune in for that, I'll let you guys know my thoughts about the offseason, all the acquisitions that's happened so far. We'll go through and look at some of the betting market so far. All right, let's jump into the 2 games that we got for today. First one we got up is the Sun and the Minnesota Lynx. I just want to check the numbers real quick. This did change just a tad bit. So total continues to drop. This actually opened yesterday. Let me update this total real quick. This actually opened at I think at 155. Let me double check real quick. I don't want to just tell y'all anything. But this total has moved. I'll just say that. The total has moved a lot. Let's see real quick. All right, so total actually opened at 157.5. Probably on DraftKings, it's down 6 points already. So a lot of probably sharp money coming in on the under here, and it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sharp money coming in on the under here, and it makes sense. And then the spread actually opened with the Lynx just laying a point, and of course they are up to 3-point favorites now. So early money coming in on the Lynx, and people thinking the Lynx gonna win, and Connecticut's gonna struggle to score. So let's jump into it. We got a Lynx, we got a Connecticut team first and foremost that we'll talk about first. Injury report for this one. We got Mariah Jefferson. She is listed as out. She has failed to play the last few games for the Sun. I think it's a lower leg injury. I think it's an ankle injury, but don't quote me there. And then on the opposite side, we got the Lynx. Nobody on the injury report for them. Connecticut is coming. So it's the second 2 days rest. They did get a big win against Phoenix in their last game a couple of games ago. So second straight road game for them as well. You can see that this Connecticut Sun team, if you haven't been following the W, they are really good. 13-4 straight up. Only 7-10 against the number that they typically land big numbers, and they're typically not dogs either. We'll talk about that in a second. On the road, 7-2 straight up, only 4-5 against the number. And you can see that you can look at their offensive metrics here. Last 5 games, third worst offensive team, defensive rating about middle of the pack at 6. Net rating, they are 8th as well. On the Lynx side, this team only has 1 day of rest. First game back home after that 4-game road trip. Of course, they lost to the New York Liberty. They only scored 8 points in that first quarter 2 nights ago. 13-3 on the season, though. 12-4 against the number. They are, I think, the strongest home team in the WNBA. It's either them or the Liberty. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the number. And what's interesting about the Lynx is, and this is not a typo, in the bottom right corner, their offensive rating is the worst in the WNBA over the last 5 games. Really struggle to score the basketball. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Defensively is where they kind of hang their hats. Number 1 defensive rated team and 5th in net rating as well. So when I was going through the game yesterday, I said there's no way that I want Connecticut. Like I really want the Lynx, especially at home. You got a revenge game as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But Connecticut is a little bit more rested. I don't really like taking teams in their first game back home after a pretty long road trip. So Minnesota coming off 4 road games in a row, and Connecticut a little more rested. They got an extra day of rest as well. So kind of feel like if you want the Lynx, you want to get in early. That was my initial thought process. But then I went back and looked at Connecticut outside of that win against the Phoenix Mercury, which the Mercury, we got to remember, the Mercury won the second leg of a back-to-back in that game. Outside of that, they've actually failed to cover 5 straight games with losses outright to Las Vegas. They lost to the Aces, lost to the Storm, and they lost to the Atlanta Dream in their last 5 games. So 3 losses in their last 5 games. And like I said, failed to cover 5 straight games outside of that. Then on the, I also looked at Connecticut as a road dog. It's only happened twice so far. They're 0-2 straight up and against the numbers so far this season as well. Those losses came against the Storm, came against the Aces. And they only scored 61 points and 74 points in both of those games. So their offense really, really struggles. You can see that they're 10th rated offensive over the last 5 games, but their offense really struggles in this spot. I look at Minnesota. I talked about them being the worst offensive rated team. I told you guys that already over the last 5 games. They've actually gone under their team total in by 10 points or more in 3 of those 5 games, averaging 78 points per game over their last 5 versus 85 points. They were actually getting 85 points per game in their first 15 games this season. Could be fatigue, could be all the travel they've been doing, could be their opponents. Could be them, cooling off after overseeding expectations early on. We got to remember the Lynx started the season off really, really high. Is that sustainable? I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to finish with like 6 losses on the season. I do think that, they'll come back down to earth a little bit. So to be fair to Connecticut, which I don't know if I'm being fair, I'm just more so assessing the Lynx. I do think that it was, it's about time for them to cool off just a tad bit. Looking more at the Lynx, when they're at home, 7 of their opponents against the Lynx have actually played. 7 of the 10 opponents that the Lynx have played at home have actually stayed under their team total. And Minnesota is only allowing 72 points per game at home this season. This is where their defense has been the best. Minnesota gave up 72 points in the first matchup where they played at the Mohegan Center earlier this season through 4 quarters before giving up 11 in overtime and losing that game by 1 in Connecticut. So I say all that to say this: their offense. If I'm thinking that Minnesota's offense is going to continue to struggle to score because Connecticut is a top 3 defense in the WNBA, and they play at the slowest pace. Of course, we know Connecticut plays at a snail's pace. I think the best look in the game is Connecticut team total under. You stay away from the spread if you don't want to get there with the spread. I do think the Lynx can win this game by 3, but I also think that even if they struggle to score the basketball, I think that their defense will come to play. So just as an example, really quickly, I'll do something for you guys, something I probably should have looked at last night. If I look at the Lynx, let's just look at their last game. The last game was against the Liberty. If you took the Lynx plus the six points, you lost the bet. But if you took the Liberty team total under, I mean, it really was not even a sweat bet at all. They gave up 76 points to the Liberty. The Liberty went under their team total by 11.5 points against the Sky. They won that game and covered. We were on the Sky team total under in that spot. I think it was 78.5. So you really could just bank on this team playing really good defense. I already said that 7 of the 10 opponents in Minnesota have actually gone under their team total. So I like Connecticut team total under. I also lean it towards Connecticut as well. I do think towards Minnesota. If you want Minnesota you probably want to get it in early. I do think that this line continues to move. Money line, I think it's like minus 150. Couldn't talk anybody off of that. Lynx -3 should be good money, but I like the team total under a little bit more. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. Last thing I wanted to mention, Lynx are also 4-0 straight up and against the number after a loss this season. So nice bounce back spot in each one of those games. They got wins over the Liberty, over the Mercury, over the Storm, and the Sky. Each of their opponents have actually have actually gone under, stayed under their team total as well. Minnesota only giving up about 66 points per game when they are coming off a loss. So nice, should be a nice bounce back spot here. Let's see what you guys are saying. I know I said a lot. Let's go. Justin says, Cappers sleep when we die. Hey, I mean, sleep is important. Don't get it twisted. I'm a mental health advocate. And I do think, we as humans don't understand how important sleep is. I try to get my 8 hours a day, but I try to get my captain done too, Justin. I think it's a happy median in there for sure. Let's see. John says 4th of July. What do we think about the Washington Nationals? I ain't been following the Nationals at all, John. Don't have anything for you there. Will says that over was easy last night. Never be afraid of a 171 total. Okay. VC says he took the under and got cooked last night. Dropping dimes says he grabbed the first half at under 79. Makes a lot of sense. The first half under, I think my guy Mark said it as well. I'll get to the rest of the comments, but yeah, I couldn't talk anybody off first half to go under either. It should be a very slow paced game is what I'm thinking. I want to give you guys some trends to support that real quick before we keep it moving. So I'm going to moneyballer.com and I looked at these trends. I just didn't write them down. As far as that first half under. So first thing that jumped. So as far as the trends go, you got the Sun 6-3, 6-3. Hold on, the Sun 6-3 to the under in the first half on the road. They're 14-5 to the first half under as well, just in general, which is cashing about 73% of the games as the dog. The 3-0 to the under off a win. They're 12-2 to the under. And then you got the Lynx at the crib, 3-6-1 to the under. As a favorite, 7-3-1 to the under, and off a loss, 3-1 to the under as well. So yeah, definitely should be an under first half under spot for sure. So I couldn't talk you off of that at all. I'm dropping dimes. Robert says, happy 4th. Let's get this money. Vegas with the points. We'll talk about that one in a second. Rob says, my head is hurting his eyes. Dallas Maverick fan in the chat. What up, Peasy? Top of the morning to you. So Solo says total definitely moved. I think I saw like 156. Yeah, it's 157.5 is what I just saw using one of the sites that I use. Jay says, morning fellas, who was sweating that Phoenix -4.5 last night? Not I didn't get there on that. Christian says they lose to good teams. I think they only won one game against a good team. Yeah, they beat the Lynx. That was their good team that they lost to. They beat the Lynx in Mohegan Center in Connecticut. But they've lost every other good team. He says that they're frauds. Yeah, potentially. Let's see. John says 87-89 final score for the Aces game. That spread is too high. We'll talk about that game in a second. Happy 4th to you as well, Lane. He says, let's get this money. What up to my guy? Eric in the chat. The fix is in. Says he likes Kayla McBride under 14.5. She is 4 for 6 to 15.5 at home. Okay. Meech says definitely feels like an under spot. Yeah. So as far as the full game total, I talk about this before. I talk about this all the time. I'm not into taking these totals under 150. When they get to like 153, it's uncomfortable to watch the game. Like you got a team totals that's so low now that feels a little weird to me, man. Like I would take Connecticut. So Connecticut team total is 74.5. That's what I like the most. The Lynx at 76.5. I guess they could, potentially stay under that. Like I said, their offense has been trending in the wrong direction. Worst offensive rated team, but man, 151 is a super low number, especially when it opened at 157. Y'all know I like to get the numbers early. But yeah, you're right, Beach. I agree. What up, Jay Muse? Appreciate you for joining as well. Fixes in says all the Lynx leading scores have bad numbers at home. Yeah. Marks likes that first half under 78.5 as well. 3 Kings says he likes the Dejanay to get 6 boards today. Couldn't talk you off. Minnesota has been one of the worst defensive rated, one of the worst rebounding teams. What up, Lightbearer? He says, I feel a solid winning streak starting today. Absolutely. Prestigious Prodigy says, ChrisBeCappinn is a legend for his dedication. Appreciate that for sure. T-Shells, I like the Lynx. I missed the -2 last night. Justin says, off subject. Since I just seen it in the chat, New York Mets team total cashes every day. ATM, just look at it. Okay, just look it up. Okay. Lightbearer likes to feature Chicago to score 25 today. Didn't the over hit in the first matchup at Mohegan? But it also went to overtime, though. Christian, I think it would have stayed under the total if it didn't go to overtime. 21 points were scored in overtime. Connecticut outscored Minnesota 11-10 in overtime. Only had 72 points through the end of the first 4 quarters, though. All right. So I wanted to talk about one more thing real quick. I wanted to talk about X's and O's and why I like the under as well. Outside of, just kind of looking at, I told you guys I like the under. Minnesota's strong defense, yada, yada, yada. But if I look at points allowed, the Lynx are second last 5 games. I'm sorry, in the full season. Phoenix is still number 1 as far as points allowed. Both teams are allowing about 73 to 74 points per game over the full season, which equates to about a 147 is what we should see, which is getting pretty close to this number now. Both of these teams score points off turnovers. The Sun are second. The Lynx are first. Points off turnovers allowed, though. The Sun don't turn the ball over a lot. They are third fewest points allowed off turnovers. The Lynx, second fewest points allowed off turnovers. So that makes it a lot difficult for both of these teams to score. And then fast break points as well. The Sun are number 1 in fast break points allowed. Well, the best team. They don't turn the ball over, so they don't give up a lot of points off turnovers. And Lynx, same way. They give up just 8, almost a little under 9 points per game allowed off turnovers, which is the 3rd best as well. So a lot of ways that both of these teams like to score should not be there for the opposite team today. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add real quick. Excuse me. Might need some water. Let's see. Zachariah says 2.5 for him. -115. Got in early. Like it. John says 2 units on that 151. It's my favorite bet of the day. Got to go with my thoughts going back and forth with it. Stop doing that to myself. Yeah, absolutely. Fahrenheit, what's going on, my brother? Hope all is well. Happy 4th to you. Since top of the morning, Chris. Like, comment, share, become a member, buy some merch. Appreciate that, Fahrenheit. And Barry says, how are the Lynx first quarter numbers? They've been kind of middle of the pack, Barry. They start fast, they start slow, they start fast, they start slow. They did have the lead against the Liberty at the end of the first quarter the other day. If I look at them in the first quarter off a loss, let's see what that looks like. They are winning by average of 4 points in the first quarter, 22-18 in the first quarter, 22.2 to 18.2 in the first quarter off their 4 losses. If I look at them at home, they are winning the first quarter by average of 2.9 points, 20.8 to 17.9. So yeah, maybe the Lynx in the first quarter could be a good look. The line should be super small. Mitchell says, hey, Chris, will you be handicapping Olympic men and women's basketball? I will. I absolutely will. Yeah. And Jay says McBride over 2.5 threes at -102 on FanDuel. The reason why I didn't look too much, I thought about McBride. She is a sniper out there. But we got to remember, Connecticut is one of the better 3-point defenses in the WNBA. Like they don't really slack up on defense when it comes to the 3-point line. You can score against them in the paint. Their 3-point defense is pretty good, though. It's one of the reasons why we like them against Phoenix. They are number 1 in opponent above the break 3 field goal percentage, only allowing teams to shoot about 28% on the season. Number 2, an opponent 3-point attempts above the break, only allowing teams to shoot about 13. Excuse me. And number 1, an above the break 3 makes as well. Opponent above the break 3 makes, allowing teams to make less than 4 per contest. So yeah, take that, Kayla McBride. Not to say that she can't get there, but it's one of the reasons I stayed away. What's up, Bella? Bell, appreciate you for tapping in. Christian says it's 151, the lowest total of the season. Let's see. I'll look at this real quick, and then we'll keep pushing. So the lowest total of the season is 150. Sun in the Dream on the 28th. Oh, this was the game that we got the Dream right on. They won the game outright. That total was 150. This one is 151 and a half, or 151. So second lowest total of the season, Christian. Super close. Let's see. I feel like it's close. Free throws will get both teams with the over with the points. 151 is just so low. I kind of feel like that as well. This is why I isolated. Last one, Bonds and Skid says caught the Wings plus 11.5 and Wings third quarter yesterday. Great channel as well. Chris, you're the best for the WNBA. Appreciate that, man. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got the Mystics and the Aces. Line was at 16.5 yesterday when I made the graphic. I actually played this one, sent it out to the members yesterday, like in the afternoon time. I did this super early, so I do need to go through here, update this real quick. We got looks like the consensus is 16 and the total has moved up to 171. So we'll go 171 for the total, and we'll go 16. Line did drop just a tad bit. All right, so update that. And all right, and let's get into it. So excuse me. Damn, I'm on water at. From my throat over here. All right, so Mercury and the Aces. Game is, let's see something real quick. This is far away. All right, so Mercury and the Aces. We got a Mercury team. I'm not Mercury. A Mystics team. I'm sorry. Mystics and the Aces. So a Mystics team that is on the second game of a road trip, coming off 1 day's rest. They did have to come from behind to beat the Sparks, which is one of the only things that I don't like about the Mystics. They scored 30 points to win that game the other day against the Sparks in the fourth quarter. That's something you typically don't see. Mystics never scored 30 points in the fourth quarter ever in history. But they did come from behind, scored 30 points against the Sparks the other day. 5-15 straight up, but they've been covering machines. 13-6-1 against the number. On the road, 2-8 straight up, but they are 6-3-1 against the number. And you look at their offensive rating; they're number 4 over the last 5 games. Defensively, still kind of bottom half of the league at 8th, and the net rating has been 5th over the last 5 games as well. As far as the injury report for the Mystics, I want to say I didn't see. I mean, it's just the usual ladies that haven't been playing. It's Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, Carly Samuelson. They've missed all of them have missed the last 3 games. You also got Stephanie Dawson listed as questionable against the Aces due to illness. So I definitely think that they'll need her to play. They definitely need her to play. And then Tiffany Hayes on the loss on the Aces side. Also, I haven't seen an update for her, whether she's going to be with the team. She, of course, missed the game against the Fever the other night for personal reasons. Not sure what's going on, but hoping all is well with her. So not sure what's going to happen with Tiffany Hayes here. Looking at the Mystics, they've covered 9 of their last 10, 5 in a row. They're 6-3-1 against the number as road dogs this season, and they're losing by an average of 6 points. And they're getting 16 in this spot. The Aces, also red hot right now. They've won 5 straight, covered 4 of their last 5. However, they only won 1 of their last 5 games by this margin of 16 points. It's also one of the big things that make me. I like the Lynx in this spot. I'll tell you guys right now. Not the Lynx, the Mystics. big part of it for me was the Aces are on the first leg of a back-to-back. They actually got to play tomorrow in LA against the Sparks. And that's not like some kind of crazy big look-ahead spot. But I do think, why you don't need to win the game by 20 points when you got a game tomorrow. So I do expect, Becky Hammond to pull the starters and let the bench get some minutes in this one. Excuse me. Just because, it's the Washington Mystics. There's no reason they shouldn't be, win this game by 12, 13 points and start to get ready for the game tomorrow. So that was a big part of the handicap for me, was that the Aces are on the first leg of a back-to-back. These two teams, of course, did just play in Washington last Saturday. Washington lost that game by 11 on a minus 13-point spread. In my opinion, I would have thought that the line would have been a bit stronger with Vegas coming home. With it being 13 on the road and now it's only 16 at home, I would have thought 3 points would have. I would have thought the line would have been a little bit bigger than the 3 points that we saw differently in this spot. And you do see a little bit of money coming in. The 16 and a half, I think, is gone on most books anyway. It's down to 16. Some 15 and a half pop up as well. So it only moved 2 points. Washington only scored 8 points in that fourth quarter, and they were outscored by 13 points in the fourth quarter of that game last week as well. Washington has also scored. Washington has also scored. They've also covered 8 of their last 10 games versus the Aces and 3 straight. So they've been getting just too many points in general. This goes back to Elena Deladon being on the team. And what do the Aces struggle with? They struggle against teams that can make the 3-point shot. The Fever, however, did not make the 3-point shot. They did not knock down their looks when they had them the other day. But outside of that, like, the Aces defense has really continued to struggle against the 3-point shot. Washington does rank number 1 in above the break 3 makes. They're second in attempts, first in above the break 3 field goal percentage over the last 5 games. I think that's the advantage that they have. I also think that the Aces, coming off a big game against Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever, probably just overlooked the Mystics. They continue to beat them. They just, especially at home, they continue to beat them, but the Mystics just continue to cover. So coming off that 20-point win, I don't think the Aces will be super locked in here to win this game by 20 plus, especially with a game against the Sparks tomorrow. I took the Mystics plus the 16.5. Faded the Aces and was wrong the other day. I think that was more so about the Indiana Fever. Not to discredit the Aces, but I think that was more about the Fever not being able to make free throws, looking so discouraged. Their body language is just so bad. They look like the Fever that played the first 5 or 6 games when they were just getting smoked by everybody. Caitlin Clark couldn't make a shot. Her teammates couldn't make a shot when she threw them a really good pass. Nalissa Smith couldn't make a free throw. They just, the list just goes on and on. The Mystics are an experienced team, though, so I'm not scared to fade the Aces in back-to-back games, and that's what I did. I decided to fade them here. Take the plus 16.5. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. And 3619 joined as a member. Appreciate that. Michael says, I think the Mystics cover. No real reason. They just keep fighting. They've been fighting, and I agree. They're gonna fight to the end for sure. Zachariah says Mystics plus 10.5. First half, you can get a plus 10.5. It's crazy. Plus 16.5 for the full game. Asia over her 26.5 points. Okay, I could see all of that happening, Zachariah. Absolutely. Daryl became a member as well. Appreciate you, Daryl. Doggy Bone says, bro, your reads be on point. You could dominate player props. The problem is I don't just play plays just to play them, right? Like I gotta have a feel. I gotta really feel it in my soul to make a play on a player prop. And sometimes they still go, they don't go right all the time, but I'll try to add more player props. I'll definitely try to look and find more player props for you guys that I'm liking. Lane says it's hard to fade Kayla McBride threes at even money. She had 10 attempts last game. I like the volume she's gotten all season. Yeah, she gonna shoot them. She definitely gonna shoot them, Lane. What up to my guy Helms in the chat? Christian says Aces haven't covered these big spreads. This game has potential blowout with Aces probably letting off the gas in the fourth, allowing a backdoor cover. I'm right there with you, Christian. Right there with you. When I was looking through it yesterday, and that's why I played the plus 16.5. When I was looking through it yesterday, I looked at the Mystics I wanted to see how many times the Mystics have lost by by 20 points this season. And I want to say it was twice. They lost by 17 to the Sun on the 4th of June, and they lost by 32 to the Storm, and they got smoked 101-69 back on the 25th of May. Outside of that, like their last few games against the Sparks, they ended up winning by 2. Against the Fever, lost by 7. Against the Dream, beat them by 19. Against the Liberty, lost by 5. So yeah, they don't, like I said, they lose by average of 6 points per game. So I'm right there with you, Christian. I bet it already. Zachariah said they better not let Dawson go off again. She outplayed Asia last game. For 3, when she hit 5 or 6 from the 3-point line, I need her to be in today because she stretches the floor for real. Lane likes Ariel Atkins over 13.5 points and Van Loo to get over 5.5 assists. I can see both of those cashing as well. Helm says small sample, but with Gray back, the Aces are 2-1 at covering double-digit spreads. Yeah, they are. The one that they didn't cover though, was against this Mystics team. Like I said, they were laying 13, only won that game by 11 the other day. DB says first quarter up and over 43.5. Couldn't talk you off of that. The Mystics have been one of the better first half teams in the WNBA. Matter of fact, I think the best first half team in the WNBA. I'll go to look at the trends real quick. Let's see. We got a Mystics team that is 13-5-1 in the first half. Was 13-4-1 until they lost to the Sparks somehow the other day. 7-2-1 against the number in the first half as well. 77.8%. They covered the first half against the Aces easily in their last game as well in DC. Let's see. 13-4-2 against the number in the first half on the road, and the Aces are 3-7. I'm sorry, 3-7 first half at home. So they have not been as strong. And I want to say it's the first quarter. I don't have first quarter ATS numbers, but I want to say it's the first quarter for the Aces. They've been a much stronger second quarter team than they have been first quarter team. They can kind of get off to a slow start at times. Just 3-7, like I said, in the first half are the Aces at home. As favorites, 7-10. So yeah, nothing profitable here for the Aces in the first half. Mystics first half, I think, could be a look as well. Rob says, I'm scared to fade the Aces. I took Fever last game and bought 2 points for 15.5. Fever came out flat in the fourth, shaking my head. I couldn't believe that. Yeah, and that could happen again. I'm just not laying 16.5 points. Like, it's really, really rare that I lay 17 points with a team, especially coming off a 20-point loss. Could be a look ahead spot to the Sparks tomorrow. Not that the Sparks are good, but you kind of want to save some. You want to save a little energy for the next game, is my thoughts here, Rob. Mark says, thanks for the early analysis and picks, Chris. Told you yesterday with the Mystics. Let's cash it, Mark. I need it. Mikey likes the Aces first quarter. Justin says he told the Mystics plus 16.5 as soon as you sent it out to the members yesterday. Let's cash it, Justin. I need it, man. Bear says, what about the Mystics team total to go over? Let's see real quick. What is that team total? I know that the total for the full game did move. It went up, 2 points? Let me double check it real quick. So team total for the Mystics is, I'm looking at a 76.5 right now. Minus 120 on DraftKings look like it's the best number. Aces defense has picked it up just a tad bit, so I don't really like that as much. I will say the Mystics are averaging 77 points on the road. The number that's 76.5, they've gone over 4 straight games versus the Liberty, the Dream, the Fever, and the Sparks in their road games. Another one against the Liberty, another one against the Mercury, and then against the Sun as well. So in their 10 road games, they've only been held under the total of 77 1, 2, 3 times. So only 3 times they've been held under. So 7-3 to the over on their team total of what today is, Barrett. I couldn't talk you off. Like I said, the Aces, that's only one side of the equation. The Aces, recently, their defense at home, not at home. And like I said, I think it was more of an under spot for, I think it was more of a Fever kind of letdown spot after only scoring 69 points. But the Aces gave up 77 to the Mystics in their last game on the road. They gave up 83 to the Sky, 74 to the Sun, which I would think that the Mystics offense is better than the Sun, 83 to the Storm, 90 to the Liberty, and that's for, I wouldn't go back too much farther than that because that's when Chelsea Gray started to play. Let's see. What if they just double-digit favorites at home? 3-2 to the over, average allowing 82 points per game. Gave up 69 to the Fever, 80 to the Fever, 98 to the Mercury. Like I said, you can't really go back too far because Chelsea Gray has had a tremendous impact on the defensive end. Michael says, I feel like Asia had a slick agenda against the Fever. She's professional, but this year she's been going Kobe for some reason, but going Kobe for some motivated reason. And I feel like it's because she's been holding the W down. I think she go crazy against everybody, man. I'm never fading Asia. This had to be a really, really terrible spot for me to fade Asia. Add the Olympics in there, and yeah, okay. Christian says, I think the total goes over 171. I know you don't like doing totals, but it's kind of my thing. Yeah, I don't not like doing totals. I like playing whatever makes me money. I just always hesitate when the total is above 170 because then you're asking, the Aces got to score 94 points. The Aces just scored 88 points and went under their team total against the Fever the other day. So if the Mystics aren't making shots, the Aces don't have to get to 94 points. 88 against the Fever the other day. That's the stuff that scares me just a tad bit. That was the highest total that we saw all season. I told you guys it was a little too high for my blood. It closed at 179, and it went under by 22 points. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. The Mystics do play a little bit faster, though, so don't let me talk you off. I'm not playing the total. I take the points. I don't care what the total ends up being. Real quick, let's just look at pace numbers. I know that the Aces are playing fast. Let me just look at the Mystics real quick and see how fast they're playing. And then we'll do a quick recap and get up off here. I already knew what I was going to play before I started the show. A lot of the times I like coming on here talking it out with you guys, but I knew what I was going to play today. So I didn't think the show was going to be this long, but I love going through the comments and kind of interacting with you guys. All right, so pace numbers. Last 5, Mystics actually playing slow. They're actually 9th in pace over the last 5 games. Not playing as fast. On the full season, they're also 9th as well. I think it's really been their shooting percentage that's actually went up. And Ace is 3rd in pace over the last 5 games. They are number 1 in pace on the full season. It's just the offensive efficiency. Washington actually the most efficient offensive team over the last 5 games. Offensive effective field goal percentage is 56.9. That's actually better than the Aces. Aces are number 2 in opponent effective field goal percentage over the last 5 games, holding teams to under 47%. So you don't like to see that. They're not fouling. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers. They're allowing the fewest offensive rebounds. Yeah, kind of scary right now. They are number 1 in net rating as well, winning by it looks like an average of 13 points per game. But like I said, the Mystics losing by an average of 4 points per game over their last 5 games. Excuse me. A lot of it has been because of their points. So, just wanted to throw that in there real quick. PG says, I'm liking the game up and over the 170.5. I hope you cash it. What up to my guy Dream in the chat? 3 King says he's taking the Mystics plus 15.5. They came through for me on the money line versus the Sparks. Yeah, I should have got there with you as well. Extreme says salute to the chat. Bill says Mystics trifecta. Dream says Misha Hans Allen is Aaliyah Boston today. Hopefully that means she cooked. She had a hell of a game in the last game, Dream. I hope she can duplicate that, especially with Dawson listed as questionable in the injury report. I need Dawson they need to get her some tea. What was y'all recommending to me? Some oregano oil, some mullein. I need her to get all the natural anti-inflammatory, upper respiratory stuff because she gonna be needed to keep up in this one. So yeah, and Hans Allen had a super big game in that last one, so I need her to be able to replicate that. We're gonna need it from everybody. Van Loo off the bench, Ariel Atkins to go crazy. Hopefully, like I said, the Ace is just not locked in, man. I would take that too. I don't care how it happens. I just need them to, not be super locked in. Real quick, let's just go back through that box score. Shatoria Walker-Kimbrough, her too. I need all of it today. Hans Allen had 16 points. She didn't play that great. 7 for 13 from the floor. I guess that's above 50%. She only shot 1 for 5 from the 3-point line, had 7 rebounds and 4 assists. So yeah, Dream, I need that. I need it all. Shatoria Walker-Kimbrough had 17 off the bench. She was the one who hooped in that last game. And they brought Aaliyah Edwards off the bench. She only had 6 points in 21 minutes. Let's see. Chelsea Jackie Young to go over 24.5 points and assists. Bruce likes. Okay. Dream says he likes Misha Hans Allen to go over her 11.5 points and her to get 15 and 8 at plus 925 on MGM. Okay, Dream. Blunt money bet. Appreciate you for shouting that out. No props for me, Java. I have not seen anything that I really, really love. I actually haven't really even been through the prop market, if I'm being honest, though. Today was a game, like I said, today was 2 days. I already knew how I kind of wanted to play these games for today. Unique says Asia Wilson over 2.5 assists. Potentially. I haven't been capping Asia's assists, so I don't want to give you too much there. Don't trust Plum to go off again. Asia needs help. Yeah, that makes sense, bro. She coming off of what? I don't know if it was a career high, but I know it was a season high. She had 30-something. Mom is just a bet says, good morning, Chris. Happy 4th to all. Thanks again for all of what you do. Awesome props yesterday. Yeah, hopefully we can keep it going. What up, Free Sauce? Michael says under 93.5 on Caesars. Is that Aces team total? Got to be looking at that. Douglas says, should I take the over on the Sun game in the Lynx? I wouldn't touch the over. I wouldn't touch the under, Douglas. I'm just not taking the under because it makes the game too sweaty for me to watch. I would say live bet it. Live bet it. If they start off super, both teams are scoring for whatever reason, I would take a live under. If it gets to about 157, 158 again, I'll take the live under. If it starts off too slow, then that's probably when you're looking at a game to potentially creep up and over the total. So I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything with that total right now, except take the Connecticut Sun team total under 74.5. For everything that I mentioned already. DJ says, Crispy putting in that work. I'm trying. Free Sauce says, Enrique on her points in your assist prop cash last night. Happy to hear that. Mark says, let's get this thumbs up on the way out. 239 watching. Appreciate that. Douglas says, will you be doing NBA Summer League? Yeah, I'll be looking at a little Summer League. Probably won't, unless I get a strong angle, I probably won't, be sending out any plays. But I will be watching. Love NBA Summer League. And supposed to be out there this year, but that ended up falling through. So hopefully I can get out there next year. But I want to see Bronny. I want to see Connect. Like I can't wait for Summer League, man. I'm a basketball junkie, as you guys can probably tell. Will says, Ouija says, is Dawson going to play? It says she has an illness or something. No idea. We have to wait and see. Another victim of the Griner injury report. Yeah, hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. Douglas says, should I bet the over on the Suns and Lynx game? I already talked about that. Free Sauce says he likes Fee to have a good game today, over 19.5. She shows up versus Connecticut. Okay. Zachariah says, as long as the Mystics don't win more than 9 or 13 games, I'm good. He got the futures in on them. He says they can cover it all they want. That's what it's been so far, Zachariah. Christian says the last game these teams played, Plum and Asia wet the bed with the points. Think that happens again? I don't think so. Not Asia. But you got to give Tebow, credit for the defensive strategy that they had against Asia last game. They doubled her, they tripled her, made somebody else beat them, and their shots weren't falling. They shoot a little bit better at home, though. I will say that. Zachariah says Tank for Juju and Paige Becker. Juju gonna be a problem, man. I'm a big fan of Juju. Juju is gonna be nice. So yeah, they could. Yeah, I guess they could use her. They got guard play though. They just don't got no bigs. With Shakira Austin being out. Bear says the W seems much more random and less consistent than the NBA. New to the W. Am I crazy? Nah, it's just I always talk about this, Bear. And this is the last. I gotta get out of here, man. 50 minutes on a 2-game slate on the 4th of July, man. Hit the thumbs up button for me, man. With this comment right here, though, Bear, I'll say this: there are a couple teams that are top tier teams. About 4 or 5 teams that sit in this top tier. They're way better than all of the other teams. So when you think about it being 12 teams in the WNBA, that means 7 teams are going to be mediocre. Some of those teams are going to play above their expectations on certain days. Some of them are going to play below their expectations on certain days. So you just got a lot of variance in there. I just lost on the Atlanta Dream against the Chicago Sky. Chicago hadn't won a game, I think, they was 1-7, but they beat the Dream the other day. And you got, all of those teams, the Wings, all of those teams that kind of fall in between. So it's a lot of parity in the WNBA. There is what I'll say. Mark says about to switch his brain over to MLB. Hope you cash on whatever you play there, Mark. Douglas says, do you do this at this time every morning? Douglas must be new. Yes, about 8 o'clock, Douglas. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. About 8 o'clock, sometimes it's 7:15. It just depends, you know, how my day's looking the next day. I got some stuff to do today, of course, with 4th of July, but my morning is available. So, yeah, I decided to get the show in at 8. Fixes in says Asia might rest, in my opinion. Asia never rests, fixes in. So, unless you know something I don't know, let me know. But if she does rest, I love my 16.5. That's great. Shout out to my guy, Bruce. Joseph says, happy 4th, Chris. All right, that is going to be the show for today. Quick recap. I already played Washington plus the 16.5. Connecticut team total, I'm probably going to lock it in right now because I do think the total is going to continue to drop, man. Minus 120, I think, is available on one of those sports books. I think it was, what was it? On DraftKings, minus 120 for Connecticut Sun to go under. I mentioned it earlier. Go back and if you joined late, go back and you can listen to the recap. But the Lynx only give up about 72 points per game at home. Connecticut plays at the slowest pace. Their offense is not great against really good teams. So I like Connecticut Sun team total under 74.5. Haven't locked that one in yet, but I did play the Washington Mystics plus the 16.5, man. That's what I did today. If you guys tell, best of luck. Hopefully we can kind of get on a little streak here, man. Like I said, 2-0 yesterday, and I'll be firing off live bets too if it's something that I absolutely love. Resources that I use, I mentioned moneyballer.com during this, during the show. And I saw my guy RC send out a tweet that said they got 800 members, and it's still free right now, which is crazy to me that they left it free for so long. But it's a one-stop shop, man. If you guys have not checked out Moneyballer, I would absolutely recommend that you do so. They got trends, they got situational stuff, they got stats. So probably, quickly becoming one of my favorite websites that I use to handicap, WNBA. OddsJam, of course, as well. I always shout them out for the live bet odds screen. You can get 25% off your first month over there if you're interested in signing up. Killer Sports also has WNBA right now, so you can check them out. Give Me the Dog is, I think it's a $50 subscription for WNBA, which is cool with me. I'll play the 50. So I'm always on Give Me the Dog and Killer Sports, just looking into different betting angles as well. So yeah, that's that. If you guys enjoyed the show, if you're still here, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Share the show if you guys can. Always helps the shows with the algorithm and all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. The link for all my official plays is in the description, as it always is. Best of luck, bet responsibly, and I will catch you guys in the next one. We got 3 games for tomorrow, so I'll be back tomorrow breaking down the games. And I also mentioned, I'll say this one more time, just because we streamed so long, WNBA free agency update will be on Monday. We don't have any WNBA games on Monday, so we'll look into the NBA free agency update. We'll look into the bet markets, all of the stuff that we have already, and go through and break down the teams from a betting perspective. Looking at some of those odds. Try to get some guests on for that show as well. So definitely tune in. That'll be on Monday. I'll be back hopefully a lot before then. But like I said, catch you guys in the next one, man. Y'all enjoy the 4th, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out.